So the first thing, and actually the thing I'm going to go into the most in-depth on for the ETC Ion basics, is patch. So patch is a term that is used to assign a channel number to a fixture. Now that could be a conventional light fixture that just comes on and off, or it could be something more advanced with multiple parameters like a moving light or an LED light fixture. A patch is done because the lighting desk views everything that you want to control as a channel. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the Nomad software and I'm going to explain how to set up a patch for a show and how to make each individual channel reflective of the type of fixture that is in it. So here we are back in the ETC Nomad software. If you've seen my other videos, you will have noticed that this is set up like it was set up previously, though I did actually remove this section right here. I'm going to redo this as an example. So I selected that area, and then right here from my potential displays, I chose patch. This is what we're focusing on in this workshop. If you went to the description, you'll see that there was a document that has an Ion example patch, and it has different categories. This is that document, and these are the categories. Those categories are channel, dimmer, and then I included a few other details that you'll gather from a light plot, like the type, the location, and then the purpose, which just helps you to understand what any fixture might potentially do. I want you to notice I used words in the type category that identify what type of fixture it is. A dimmer is just a regular conventional light fixture, light up, light down. And then ETC Wibron 30 channel, and then there's another one here too that's a Chauvet Slim Par Pro 10 channel. Those are particularly important to note because they aren't just a light that comes on and off, they have other parameters. So here we are back in the editor, and I'm going to walk you through the basic keystrokes in order to patch a fixture. Now we don't actually have the buttons, so here we'll be using the virtual keyboard. I'm going to try to avoid using my keyboard for my computer because you won't see what I'm clicking. If you're watching down here, you'll know what the strikes are, but I'm still going to try to do it all with the mouse just so you guys can see it a little bit easier. I'm going to start not with the first row, but down one row from what you can see right there on the spreadsheet. And the reason why is because it's a very simple patch. An example of a basic conventional patch is you're going to select the channel that you want to patch. In this case, we've got channel 1. And it says right there, channel 1. Then the next key we're going to strike in order to assign the dimmer to it is the at button. So that's channel 1 address. The address is the dimmer. I'm going to get into DMX address later, but for the purposes of a basic dimmer, it's important to know that that basically is where we're going to enter the dimmer. So that next dimmer number is 105, and then I'm going to hit enter, and it has assigned to channel 1 address number 105, and it defaults to it being a dimmer. Again, this is like a conventional fixture. There is a place that I could then click here and enter a label. I don't particularly have a need to do that, but if it helps you to group your instrumentation together, you can do that. So again, going down another line, if I want to go ahead and assign the next one, I'm going to go channel 11 at 104, enter. And now on channel 11, 104 is there. And if you scroll up, you'll see that channel 1 is still assigned. The next thing that I'm going to cover is actually lumping a group of channels. So if you go back to the spreadsheet and you look at the top line, you'll see that channel 100 has a series of numbers, 73 through 80. Now I wrote it that way specifically because that's how the light board can read multiple numbers together. If I wanted to enter everything 73 through 80 into 100, I would have to go 100 at 73, enter. 100 at 74, enter. Now, this has assigned multiple addresses to a single channel. Also, I could type 73 through That's why I wrote through there. 80 at, whoops, clear. The clear button is your friend. This is for where you make mistakes. That was a mistake. What I should have entered there, because I'm going into channel 100, was 100 at 73 through 80. Now, I had to hit enter twice. I forgot to point it out, but over here it said confirm for a split second. Now I have all of the dimmers, 73 through 80, assigned to that single channel. So that covers the basic parameter of assigning just a regular conventional dimmer from your building into channels. The last thing that you'll see in that top group is that there is a fixture that is called the ETC Revolution. What that is that's a moving light. So if you're not already familiar with the Revolution, it's just a basic moving light, pan, tilt, and a few other parameters. It is assigned in a similar fashion. Notice I don't say exactly the same fashion. So what I would do there is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to enter channel 101, what's going to be in, and it's going to be at. Now you'll notice in the dimmer field there is a 1 and then a slash and then the number 200. The 1 represents the Dmx universe and the 200 represents the Dmx address. So if you're not already familiar with this concept, this is just a quick image of the back of the ion. The ion is capable of dealing in 2 Dmx universes. DMX stands for digital multiplex, and it's a data signal that comes out of the light board and goes to all of the various instrumentation. Typically, the first universe goes directly to the dimmers that are built into the building. In some instances, that universe also goes out to certain pre-wired fixtures on the raceways of your theater or in other places that gives you access to that DMX universe as well. The DMX Universe 2 is generally a separate universe. This is what is usually programmed on the raceways and can be used to expand upon the fixtures that are built into your theater. DMX has a grand total of 512 channels per universe. And this is particularly important because some of those multi-parameter fixtures, like that one that we're talking about right now, the Wybron, you'll notice it says right there, it says 30 channel. 30 channel means that it has 30 separate parameters that it can do. Those 30 parameters, each one takes up a separate DMX address. This is an image of a traditional DMX dip switch unit. You find them on the sides of most fixtures. There are also digitally programmable ones now for lots of the LED fixtures. And you can still find some that have a rotary dial too, where you rotate the dial around to a 2 for 200 and then 1 for 10 and then a 1 for the regular 1. But all of those things assign a digital address to that fixture. That is what that number that I wrote here represents. 200 is the DMX address that is already programmed into that fixture. If you haven't already set your DMX addresses, that's okay. They probably were pre-programmed for you. There's actually complicated binary math that tells you how to use the dip switches to assign a particular fixture and address. But these days, we have the benefit of technology. For instance, I have this app on my phone. It's just called Dmx Calc. There's one for the iPhone as well. And very simply, if I want to know what address I need to enter, I can just do that, and it tells me which switches to turn on and which to turn off. This is very tangential, but it's important with relation to the DMX address of all of your fixtures. So here we are back in the Nomad editor. I've actually picked up right where I left off. Channel 101 is currently waiting on its address. So now that we've talked about that, the universe commentary there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to enter it 1, 200, confirmed it right there, and then press enter. Now, the 1 actually is the default. So all of these right here that have numbers previously assigned to them, they default as if it says 1-80. The 1 is just there to confirm that it is in the correct universe. If I needed it to be in the second universe, it would of course need to say 2-200. You'll notice though that this right here still says dimmer. The way that we change that is we click into it, and then right here in this lower right-hand category where it says type, on dimmer, we can choose another fixture. Now right here it says show. These are ones that are already programmed into my show. I already have a color strip available here because I already patched it while I was setting up this file. But the ETC Revolution is not there. So what we'll do is we'll select manufacturer. We're going to scroll through the manufacturers here until we find ETC. And here we are, ETC fixtures. And then I would cycle through these to find my fixture. Now, I don't actually have it in this one. So I am, oh, there it is right there. So the Revolution Original and the Revolution Y Bronze. So I'm actually going to select that one right there. And I know that it's a 31 channel, so I'm going to select it right there. And now, there it is right there. The Revolution Y Bronze is now assigned to addresses in the first universe 200 through 230. And that unit is now patched and ready to go. I'm going to do one more set of these just to show you guys the examples and kind of drive it all home so that if anything got missed, we can step through it again. I'm actually going to go down and I'm going to do the first few fixtures on my first electric. So if you look at the spreadsheet and you go down to the first electric, we're going to do a few more. I'm going to start at the top right there. I'm going to do channel 121 at 2-230. And then I'm going to hit enter. And then right there in the dimmer field, because it is in fact not a dimmer, I'm going to select. I'm going to go to manufacturers here. I'm going to go back and I'm going to find Chauvet, which is the manufacturer of that fixture. And then I'm going to cycle through until I find the Slim Par Pro. And then I'm going to choose the 10 channel because I already know that that was what my unit is fixed. So there that is right there. Now that I have that pre-programmed, when I go to use it again, I won't have to cycle through all the manufacturers. You'll see that here in a minute. So my next fixture I'm going to go, and since I'm still in patch, it's just as simple as going channel 75 at 4, enter, basic dimmer. And then I'm going to go 45 at 5, enter. And I'm going to do 65 at 6, enter. And then I'm going to get to my next Slim Par Pro right there. So I'm going to go 122 at 2-220. And then I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to select the dimmer. But instead of going to manufacturer and hunting for it again, I'm going to click on show, and there it is, because it's the same style fixture. And we're patched and done. So that's the basics of patching both a conventional and a multi-parameter fixture. So that's the basics of patching a show. I've not gotten into many of the details about how to, for instance, unpatch a fixture from a channel, or how to clear your patch or patch the entire board one-to-one so that every dimmer is assigned a single channel. You can find all of those things in the ETC video series, so if you have interest, you can find that in the description. I hope that this has been helpful to you, and if you are working on the assignment, please move on to the next step, and that is how to control levels on different fixtures.